Arizona, homeowner's best friend.
You know, a lot of the best conversations here at Rosie on the House can happen during the break, and we were talking about composting and all the different types of compost that come out of different types of animals and their names. But it led to the topic that's just one part of composting. There's a lot of other important elements that we need to consider instead of the greens, but you also got a lot of browns and other organic matter that's not just the back end of an animal.
Right? Well, and one of my favorite things is leaves. You know, and it always used to drive me nuts in Phoenix. Well, in here too, people rake them up and throw them away wherever away is. And I actually had my neighbors trained to bring me their leaves. And I think you've done the same thing, haven't you, Jordan?
I certainly have, actually. I have a neighbor that has a huge ash tree in their front yard. And I noticed through my observation skills that they were bagging them up every year and setting them out for bulk trash. And so I knocked on the door and asked them if it was fine if I took them. And so for 4 years now in a row, I've gone and taken their leaves and I open up those bags and dump them out in my yard because they're a really valuable resource. And it's that whole one man's trash thing. You know, those leaves are valuable nutrients and they are a treasure if you get them in your ground. So definitely.
Now, do you just apply them straight, or are you mixing them with other materials to make a composting mix?
Well, being in Phoenix, we're a very dry environment. And so in wetter environments or in places where the leaves will be blanketed under snow for a season, they do what's called mold, and they break down into like this beautiful humus-rich substance. Whereas in Phoenix, because we're so dry, I will just put them on the top of my soil and they will continue to be dry, and we'll walk over them and through them all through the year, and they'll break down into kind of leaf dust and settle down into all the cracks and crevices. And then when the rains come, they get mixed into the soil.
Another natural security element because you're not sneaking up on anybody.
That is true. That is true.
There you go. When I love that leaf dust.
Yeah. It breaks down super fine and kind of seeps into all the cracks in the woody mulch or the fine mulch on top of the garden beds, whatever the case may be. And it's like, free vitamins.
What I used to do with them in Phoenix is they all went into the chicken coop area.
Yeah, that's a great use for them.
Right. It kind of made some bedding for the chickens. Any bugs that were in there, the chickens went and ate them. And then they added their poop. That's the official term for today. And then I would rake it up and just shovel it into the compost bin and let it break down over time. And so that's what I did with my leaves. And
that's a perfect use for it, because when you're composting anything, you have to kind of find that perfect balance of green input and brown input. And the chicken manure is green input because it's really hot and bioactive. And the leaves provide a really good brown ratio. And when you mix those two, it just kickstarts and makes a beautiful compost.
Rosie on the House, every Arizona homeowner's best friend.